Hello, welcome back to another NOMO FOMO. No more fear of missing out. I had talked a lot so far in many earlier videos about the psychology that can lead to FOMO. And I'm no psychologist, okay? So I don't know. I'm just throwing out wild guesses and speculation on why some people behave in a certain way. And really, at the end of the day, only each person can figure out why they do what they do or how they can change the approach to this hobby if they want to change the behavior. It's possible. I'm just saying, I think it is possible. When it comes to me, I am a big part of me thinks and believe that people are who they are. Okay? But a small part of me also is optimistic that people can change. Yeah. It's rare that people can change, but it's possible. And I'm just going to give you an example of how a person that I thought couldn't do it did it. Okay, one of my best friend, if not the best friend I have here in Sarasota, is Korean. He has a wife and 3 kids. We knew of him because his daughter is the same age as Anthony, and we first met at kindergarten. Okay, kindergarten was a chance that we bump into each other as parents and the kids, and they've been in class together. They've been in the same school now since kindergarten, so we've been good friends with them. And when I first met him, he was a golf instructor, or he tried to be. He tried to be a golf instructor. Golf was his obsession. That's all he wanted to do. And the very first time that he showed up at my house with his family for dinner, he was shocked. You, a man, cook? That's not something I do. He was like befuddled, confused that an Asian man is cooking. I told him it's not a big deal. I love to cook, so sit back and enjoy. And his wife was not working, but she's a wonderful cook. The few times that we went over to his house, woo, I love his Korean food. His wife can cook. But he struggled to make it as a golf instructor. And a few years ago, he and I sit around and talk about, what would we do if I want to do something different than what I was doing at the time. And I told him, hey, if I want to change career, one of them would be to create a food truck and run a food truck here in Sarasota, because there's not that many. We have like 3 food trucks that we see around, and they're terrible, in my opinion. Well, it's not that they're terrible. Okay, let me take that back. The food is not terrible, but to me, the concept is nothing fresh. Pizza, taco, burger. Yeah. So to me, it's just like you can get that just about every corner here. So it's not like it provides some kind of newness that would attract people. So I told him, hey, I love to cook. A lot of people love Vietnamese food. A lot of people love Korean food. I would do a truck and I would name it Invasion. Play on the word Asian, Invasion. Tasty Invasion. You know me, I might not be all that good with language, but I think I have a thing for names. So that was my idea. Tasty Invasion. I told me I would do a Vietnamese food truck serving, some classic Vietnamese food like bánh mì, the sandwich, egg rolls, and of course, some Korean stuff, because I also cook a lot of Korean dishes. He loved the idea, okay, but we talked about it, and I said, yeah, it's something that I would entertain doing, but I'm kind of lazy as far as trying to get things going. And then 3 years ago, we talked about this like 4 years ago, okay, and about a year after we had the talk, he's like, Nick, I'm serious. I want to do this. I need somebody to work with me, because you work in a restaurant, you have some experience in the restaurant, but I know nothing. I don't even cook. I remember talking to my wife. There's no way I would do business with Charlie, because first of all, I'm not big on partner after my bad experiences. I prefer to run my own thing, and partner up with somebody could be a problem, especially a friend. You know how they say, don't do business with friends and family. So that's a sticky point. 2, Charlie doesn't cook. All Charlie knows is golf. So yeah, so I kind of took myself out of the equation. And to Charlie credit, he went out there, bought a truck. Not a food truck, just a truck. And then he did all the renovation himself. Gut out the truck, put in equipments, do all kind of stuff, get the proper permit and license, all of that stuff, and launch his Korean food truck. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, he is serious. He is actually doing this. I never thought he has the will to do something like this. Now, Charlie is about 10 years younger than me. Okay, so he's in his early 40s at this point. 3 years ago. So I saw that they are launching it, and of course I jump in at that point to help out, to advise as a friend. Okay, I teach him everything I know about the restaurant business, like how to price things. Like, you definitely want to price at least 3 times your cost. Okay, so if that bowl of rice and beef is gonna cost you $250 to make, as far as ingredient cost, you better charge $750. You gotta do that if you want to make enough money. So I went through a whole lot of advising to help him off the ground, and it was slow. It was really tough for Charlie in the beginning, because Sarasota 2 years ago had a very strict regulation on food truck. A food truck cannot be within 70 feet of a restaurant. This is what the restaurant in town, it was something like that. I can't remember the exact distance, but Charlie was parking illegally in many spots, get chased around, threatened to be called the cops, all kind of stuff, because he was trying to find the location. I tried to help him out with suggestion, but it seemed like everywhere he went, he was breaking the law one way or the other. So it was really tough. And he, along with the 2 or 3 other food truck, decided that they're gonna go to the city hall and work with a politician and change the rule. I mean, Charlie did all kind of stuff that's beyond my expectation of what he can do. I'm so proud of him. So proud of him, okay? Because every time that he hit an obstacle, I'm just like, I have no idea how he can get over the hump. And in Sarasota, there are 3 very popular microbrewery. It's like a bar, serve all kind of fancy draft beer, but they don't have restaurant food. They don't have food. Charlie approached each restaurant or each brewery and said, what if I park my truck in your parking lot on Friday night from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.? How would you like that? Yeah, it was a stroke of genius on Charlie. So, wow, his business exploded. Charlie went from working 6 days a week, barely break even, to working Friday night, Saturday night, and Thursday night. Each night of the week, he parked at each brewery. And he often ran out of food before 1 a.m. His wife couldn't cook fast enough to replenish the truck. He lived the American dream. Okay, I was so proud of him because he went from struggling to pay rent in a house for his family, to blowing up with a food truck, and then bought a house. And then he went another step crazy. He graduated from the food truck, and then last year he opened a restaurant in Sarasota. And to open a restaurant, once again, Charlie got out a location and built that restaurant, counters to table to kitchen, with his own hand. He did it. He was a YouTuber. He watched YouTube on how to do anything. He go to Home Depot, ask for help, rent the tools that needed, and then he makes everything. Oh my God, it was insane. He was working 18 hours a day. That was the toughest 6 months because now his wife had to run the truck herself to make the money, right? So that Charlie can be renovating the restaurant. So amazing couple. I talking about being thoroughly impressed. Okay, I'm not easily impressed, but if there's anyone that I know here in Sarasota that I am thoroughly impressed by the hard work and dedication and the passion and the drive, is Charlie. Way to go. So, what's the lesson here? The lesson is it's never too late to kick into second gear. Okay? You know, when occasionally people, many viewers would ask questions like, oh, what book did you miss out on, or you could have bought for much cheaper? Tons. I talk about, I could buy an All-Star 8 First Wonder Woman for a fraction of what it is now. I could have buy a Batman one a fraction of what it is now. There's many books that I could have purchased 20 years ago. But I don't look at those like, oh man, I missed out on opportunities like that. Because I was focused, I was driven, and set my sight on certain things. And I'm not concerned that I had to pay more to get my Batman one, because the hard work that I put in when I was missing out on that Batman one earned me a lot of money. So net is not like I had to pay 3 times more for my copy of Batman 1. Well, that hard work 10 years ago net me a lot of money. So paying a little bit more for the Batman 1 is not like a bad thing to do. So one of my suggestions for those that had the FOMO is, hopefully this little story tell you that if you worry about missing out on something now because you have to pay more for it later. Sometimes hard working now will allow you later to buy that book for whatever price it is, and you won't have to worry about. Meanwhile, trying to buying that copy right now might be spending everything that you have. Okay, so it's all relative. Okay, if you focus less on the book and focus more on whatever goal, whatever financial goal or job you want, you'll be surprised that eventually you can get the stuff that you want and the price is less of an issue. Trust me, okay? That's how I went through it. I went through many years of not having a lot of stuff. As big of a comic collector that I am, and as huge of a Wolverine fan, I love Wolverine. Did you know when I acquired my first copy of Hulk 181? 2009, early 2010. Yeah. Something like that. It's insane. Okay? It's insane. I could have bought a copy for a fifth of the cost if I bought it back in 1999 or 2000 on eBay. Yeah. But at that point, I was so focused on work and my business that missing out on Hulk 181 in 1999 or 2000 is not a big deal. Paying 3, 4, 5 times the price later is not a big deal because I made a hell of a lot of money in between. Does that make sense? Anyhow, long story. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.